Hi everybody, Jason Edwards again, sales and performance coach. And today I'd like to talk to you about a topic that I really love to geek out on. And that is the connection between the way you think and the result that you get in the real world. This is important because when you're an independent contractor who happens to own your own business and you're in the real estate business specifically, it's incumbent upon us to wake up every day and find ourselves to a spot where we're thinking from a positive frame of mind so that we take positive actions out in the marketplace. But if you think about how the average American wakes up today, our alarm goes off and we roll over and grab the iPhone and turn the alarm off, and then instantly we're connected to the rest of the world. Jump into social media, look at their notifications. Did they have any emails or text messages? If you ever decide to check news stories at all, well, that's going to be a real positive input to start your day, isn't it? In your real estate business, if you're currently experiencing a real world result that doesn't please you, then there's a way to use the power of your thoughts to get a different result. So once you start interacting with your iPhone or the television or the person that cuts you off on the way to the office, all of those things are inputs. Okay? And when you have something that confronts you during the day, what that's going to do is that's going to trigger a thought. Now, have you ever heard the phrase, she worried herself? When I do this in front of audiences, they get really dramatic on me and they say, she worried herself to death. And I really didn't hear that much when I was growing up. I always heard, well, she worried herself sick. But whether you worry yourself to sick or get all dramatic and worry yourself to death, it's kind of the same message. Thoughts are real, and the reason we know they're real is because you literally can experience something and have these thoughts in your mind that cause a flood of emotions through your body that make you nervous or stressed or sick to your stomach. You probably know someone who worried so much about something that they made themselves throw up. Well, what's causing that? Well, you have inputs that you've observed, things that people have thrown in front of your face or that you looked at with your own eyes, you heard with your own ears, that triggered thoughts in your body or thoughts in your mind, and those thoughts sent chemicals throughout your body, and what that thought did was it triggered an emotion. All right, now, when you study salesmanship, you learn really quickly that people are only going to do what they feel like doing. You're watching this video because you feel like it. No one's holding a gun to your head. Your sellers are going to sign the listing agreement because they feel like it. Emotions are what drive people's decisions. Emotions meaning you do what you feel like you're going to do. When you have a feeling, that feeling is going to drive your action. So you're either going to do something or not. Failing to act is also an action. And when you take that action, that's going to produce a real world result. And this result then, when it's observed, becomes another input, and you find yourself on this cycle. So when someone in a coaching role says to you, thoughts become things, this is exactly why. And you may have heard people say, well, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. I mean, I agree with that. It's a cute saying. It just happens that in the life of a residential realtor, it's not particularly helpful because it doesn't tell you the full story. If you don't like the result that you're experiencing right now in your business, or frankly, the result that you have in your bank account, or in your friendships, or your personal relationships at home, the way to change that in your life is to, yes, start taking different actions. But Jason, how am I going to start taking different actions? You don't just snap your fingers and overnight because you said so start taking different actions. The only way that's going to happen is if you change the way you feel about things. In other words, if you want a better result in your production, if you want higher production, you have to start taking different actions, which means you have to start changing the way you feel about, for example, lead generation. But you can't stop there. How are you going to change the way you feel about lead generation? Well, you have to change the way you think about lead generation. And that's still not the end of the story, because the only way you would ever change the way you think about lead generation, or anything for that matter, is by changing the inputs. And this, my friends, right here, for anyone who is self-employed, and I'd argue for humanity at large, is what gives us the control. We have a choice when we wake up in the morning to either accept the inputs that are thrown at us by the world, or to consciously choose the things that we're going to put into our brains that drive our thoughts and the rest of that wheel. And if you can get your mind around that, you can choose the things that will point you towards the life that you want. You can literally design whatever type of business and life you desire and finally fulfill the vision that you had when you got that real estate license in the first place. Well, I hope this was helpful to you. And for more great educational information and tips, make sure you go to AceableAgent.com.